Hello and welcome to Able Diaries, a highly caffeinated morning show. We're talking today about...
What's been going on in the news?
We're going to talk about the ULI as well. Big day yesterday. We had a big day yesterday.
Yes, it was very exciting. The ULI is the Urban Land Institute that had their UK conference in Canada Water yesterday morning. Well, had it all day, but we went for the morning session and it was absolutely bloody
Beautiful, sunny, beautiful, windswept, rain-swept Canada Water. I've never been to that part before, but it was really good. That was a huge conference. We need to talk more about that. You also went for some dinner drinks last night. Were you wearing those trainers to the drinks last night?
It was super cool. It was at Weston Williamson, and we want to talk about their Northern Loop concept, which got published this week. And so all the people who were involved with that were there.
Were they discussing that last night?
We were. I was with Gino from the AJ, who had taken a strong view on it. And come on, Nick, you've got to talk about it. Well, are we talking about it, or was this the trailer?
We're gonna, and then there's some other news we'll come on to. I think we should discuss. I want to talk about the Northern Loop, and I want to say this is a real us project. If you don't know what it is, Chris Williamson, as part of Weston Williamson, has created the Northern Hyperloop, we're going to call it. But what I love about it's a very us project.
Are we going into them now?
Yeah.
I thought that was the headline.
Yeah. And now news article number one.
Oh, I see.
Is the Northern Hyperloop, which I think is amazing. And you were there last night. Were they discussing it?
Well, the concept is, and it's quite, I think it's fun. It's basically a not realistic concept for linking lots of northern cities and Ireland, Belfast, Dublin, Liverpool, Manchester, Leeds, and some other ones in the north, and into one rail loop that would mean that they were really connected, they were quick to get between, and it's a really strong idea, but it's not very realistic because it's a huge piece of infrastructure. The government can barely build an HS2, let alone invest billions in this. But the concept was, the underlying concept for me was these are all brilliant, fantastic cities in their own right. And if we aggregate them together and their strength, that could be a real force for growth. We love it because we're optimists, and there's a lot of ways of picking holes in ideas. And we grew up in the 90s when, Richard Rogers was pretty much the city architect of London, and it was the Wobbly Bridge, and it was the O2, and it was big ideas that actually got built. And so we love it. I mean, what was your take on it?
I like the arc of those schemes because they come up. We love good images. It's a big idea. It's sort of inspired. He said it's inspired by the sort of Hyperloop they were going to do in Dubai, and Hyperloop. He's inspired by these big projects. And then the next part of me was like, well, that's ridiculous. They would never get built. Why? But then I thought, no, the third part of me was like, yeah, but it's like a really optimistic architectural call to arms. I thought it's like, look, he's the president. He's trying to make his stamp on things. I thought it was a really smart political play by him. It was like, look, I'm going not going to focus on London. I'm going to link the whole, I'm going to put my arm around the whole of the northern part of the country. My eyes are on the rest of the country. I'm also very passionate about London. And I thought it was just a really smart conversation starter. I thought if you're going to be the RIBA president, it's quite hard to drum up any excitement or interest unless you do like a big idea.
Eye-catching policy. Yeah. So Weston Williamson, they've been a practice since they met at university 30 years ago. They're transport specialists, so it makes sense for them to do a kind of transport scheme. But Ben, Elliot Wood did the engineering.
Yes,
Our
I know.
old friend Andy Downey at the heart of it. He's a friend, a long-time collaborator here. He's always got his fingers in some of the more bonkers ideas you see. So Elliot Wood was there. The usual camps emerged. The AJ, who, I love Will Hurst, and Gino is one of their key kind of editorial writers. He was there last night, and I was taking the mickey. Their general tone is, this is a bit bonkers. The comments under the AJ are, this guy spent too long in the desert, the heat's gone to his head, and there's the usual sort of, this is kind of bonkers. And then there's the other side. Dizzy normally does a more favourable thing, and I think their coverage was really positive, which was, big ideas.
But that's what I mean. It's like, yeah, you can just be negative about it, but like, I don't know. I just thought it was like if you're going to be negative, you can be negative about all these stories. It's a really fun idea. It's a thought-provoking idea. It starts a lot of conversations. It is, yes, you can't build a train line over the coast, over the sea. However, the idea that you should try and interlink all these cities, the idea that you should concentrate more away from London, that was a huge thing we'll come on to about the ULI yesterday, is a really great idea. And it's like, we constantly bash sort of the press a little bit for being overly negative. And you've got the RIBA president doing something really big and grand. And I thought it was great. I thought it was such a fun idea. And I'm fascinated. I mean, read the comments underneath. I mean, it's just hilarious. It's like, do you ever, guys, a side tangent, do you ever want to like find out more about the people that do the comments? Because they're all so negative but they're so detailed. I'm like, I want to know more about you. You can click on his username and see all the other comments he's done. It's like, you must take like a ton of time out of their day. Like, maybe
they're just bots. Yeah. I mean, you can save yourself some time, just preload all your prejudices into a bot and then be like, anytime anything kind of infrastructural or AI generated come out, I'd like,
Here's ChatGPT.
Keywords must definitely be,
I've pulled out all my old comments from like before digital press came in. These are letters I wrote in. Can you like train it so I can be negative? So that was number one. I think number two, the number two is about the Liverpool Street Station. And the thing I thought was really funny was before we go on to it, it went for planning and it got the most amount of opposing votes ever for any planning submission.
Have we understood it right? Because I mean, some people who listen to this, there are people, promise.
Yeah.
They're not all architects. Liverpool Street Station, big station in the middle of London. It's also in the centre of the financial district, so the real estate's very expensive there. And the concept broadly is to reimagine Liverpool Street Station by making it better access than it is on lots of funny levels, but also to put a socking great skyscraper over the station.
A beautifully proportioned,
but a socking, and that is sort of why I think the it's become a political thing. Is that there's the 20th century society, and should these stations be preserved as heritage assets? Is it part of the city? By that I mean the financial district, and it's fair game for growth. But it's got planning, and it's on.
Yeah, it's got planning, but I thought the fact that it got the most amount of pushback from any project in the City of London, above all the towers.
So your letters are finally getting through, Ben.
ChatGPT's been working well for me. So a bit like the scheme is, I can see why it's controversial. I mean, we looked at it. We were looking at it last week, and I can't believe it's just sort of got planning now because it's been in planning hell for like
word
5 years.
Controversial. They always put that in front of the controversial Liverpool. It's like it's only controversial because you're making it controversial. That's what I always think. Like even people are described as the controversial X. It's like, I don't know. Who's saying it's controversial? I don't know. Is there real controversy about it? Or is it just the usual clickbaity, let's make an issue out of something that isn't an issue?
Interesting. Well, if you're going to make it controversial, this is as good as you're going to get. Like, if you want a controversial scheme, this is gold. I mean, I can't wait to see what it's actually going to look like. I think that's the thing that we were chatting about last week, is that some of the detailing feels a little bit thin. I don't know how you're going to put a skyscraper with stone vaults and brick vaults and I'm sure they've thought about it. Do you want to talk about the RIBA Gold Medal, which I know loads about?
Can I say what you said? I said, Niall McLaughlin has won the RIBA Gold Medal. I said, Niall McLaughlin's won the gold medal. And Ben said, what in? And I was thinking,
you didn't say RIBA Gold Medal. You just said gold medal. The reason
you're in the Winter Olympics.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, one of my news stories is going to be that like cross country skiing is cool again. So when you said gold medal, I was like, right. And then you were like, the RIBA one. And I was like, has the RIBA has it done the gold medal this week? Is this new news?
It's news this week.
Okay, talk to me. Explain it to me.
So the RIBA,
I know nothing about it.
So the RIBA, the Royal Institute of British Architects, the bronze and silver awards go to students. Then during your career, they have things like the Sterling Prize, which is the biggest prize for a single building. They have regional awards and they have sector awards, and they are brilliant and they're extremely thoroughly judged. And to win one is a huge accolade for people. We haven't won one at our practice yet. Yeah. David and people who work, as part of our company have won them in former practices. So they're a real valuable thing. The gold medal is a lifetime achievement award. And probably the hardest to get because it's consistently delivering a really high level of building. And Niall McLaughlin, who I don't know personally, but his work is stunning, and I'd sort of encourage anybody to look it up. He's done lots for, Oxford universities, and he's done some beautiful libraries, and it's sort of pure and geometric and technically beautifully finished and incredibly, avant-garde use of timber to its absolute capacity. I mean, it's stunning, and it's a really good place. Often when you're starting projects and we're thinking, how do we want it to be? The first one's going up on the Miro board of Niall McLaughlin projects, and so it's a massive deal. And I think for those of us who sort of scrubbling around in the mud of the architectural profession to get by, to just take a moment to look at these megastars who have, who started little practices like ours and went on to great things. So big props, Nige.
Is it Sterling Prize gold, or is the gold more, Sterling Prize is the most prestigious?
No, I would say a gold
really
is better than the Sterling. Because the Sterling's about one building, and there have been some funny Sterling Prize winners who...
Oh, so the gold medal isn't about a building, it's about a company?
No, it's about a person.
Right.
An individual.
Okay. So if you gave it to Foster's, Norman Foster would get it, or Foster's the practice would get it?
I think Norman Foster, the man, Lord Foster, would get... Yeah. I'm sure he's probably got it. I should know that, but I'd be so amazed if he hasn't already got it. I mean, he's 90, isn't he? And he's been the best for 50 years.
Is that not reinforcing the star architect issue, though? Oh, you're the man. Even though you've got a company of like 70 people, it's you. You're the big dog. You're the star architect.
Is this the hill I want to die on?
Yeah, I know. Do you want the
But that's like saying, oh, well, Richard Branson's not Virgin. It's like, yeah, but he is. And he drove that practice, and he created the culture. And, it's okay to say...
So Orms can't ever win it because there's no single person?
No, correct.
Just
Are there any other questions? Like core things about...
well, we were joking. The thing that I really liked about Weston Williamson's Northern Loop was we were joking that it's made the RIBA fun and exciting in a way that maybe, I will be honest, I'm not hugely in that world, and now I'm sort of far more curious about what's going on, and I don't know, just challenging it a little bit, and I having to just done a year of CPDs, I'm now like, oh, okay, I can see what the RIBA does, and I'm getting into it more. So I'm just questioning it, So
that's
gold
good.
medal.
You're RIBA curious. Yeah, this is it's exciting time.
Exactly. So we're now going to talk. We went to the ULI conference yesterday. I should say, the conference, the Urban Land Institute conference, we sort of got our way into it very, very long-winded way that we interviewed Moki, the founder of Moki, Tamara Brisk. And she came on here probably 2 years ago in this room. We interviewed her. She then said, oh, by the way, I'm part of the ULI. And then a year later, maybe a year and a half later, she took us out for breakfast and said, oh, we're thinking of doing a podcast with the ULI. We then have produced, and you've done all the interviewing for 5 of these podcasts, and it's gone so well, they want more. And part of the deal of that was you get a ULI conference ticket. So we went yesterday.
We don't need to go into the details of the deal.
Yeah, but
it's an expensive conference. Yeah. And I was thinking, what's cheap for them to give away, but of high value to us? And that was a pair of conference tickets, which was yesterday.
Yeah. And what did you think?
Firstly, Canada Water is a massive deal, if people don't know about it. It's Roger Madeline, British land. I think it's 40 or 70 hectares of land from Surrey Quays, enormous old car parks. And British Land and Australian Super, a big pension fund, are getting hold of it and turning it into the most incredible master plan. Allies Morrison are doing a lot of it. You've got Big doing a building, you've got Asif Khan doing a cool bridge, and that whole place has changed so much in the last 5 years, even since I've been going. And it was hosted there in I think British Land are one of the sponsors. It was an incredible building called Corner,
yeah.
And it had an internal urban farm, which made the whole thing glow. And it was just super fresh, super fun, and I felt like in a changing part of London, in a crazy, super contemporary timber building, and...
On where it is, do you know what I liked as well? When we came out the tube station, the directions said follow the red bridge. I thought that was great. And because you don't know where to follow the bridge and it pops you straight out. I just thought, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
storytelling.
Cool. Yeah.
And it feels, and no shade on the BCO here, who we're members of and we like, but it feels much more European.
Yeah.
Loads of loads of Italians, French, and Swiss, and lots of people had travelled in for it. It started as an American thing, the ULI. There's a big British chapter, but it is very European. I mean, the first guy we met, he used to run Hines, Hines, big development company, and now he was working for the Cabinet Office, advising on various things. So the caliber of guests was really high. I'm slightly, I'm at Disneyland at those things. I run around saying, yeah, sure, we can do a data center. And we met some really, I loved it. I really loved it.
Again,
What did you think?
I'm not against the BCO or anything, but I find the ULI has such a diverse range of people who are in quite senior positions, and the
Mayor of Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Cool.
the mayor of Pittsburgh, wasn't it? The mayor of Sheffield, or she was like,
Yeah.
but they all have. How do I explain this? They have the confidence in the agency to really tell you what they're thinking because they're so senior in that company that it makes them much easier to talk to because like, well, we run a business. Oh, you run a business. Oh, you're the mayor of Pittsburgh. But like they have that sort of, when they've got to be passionate and they really drove a lot of the conversation. But like the best networking we did was like just waiting for the coats and like getting a coffee in the morning and just bumping into people. But because we normally, circle around office, this is a much wider reaching sector. It was everything basically.
Yeah.
Almost to the point where they're like, oh, you're an architect. Oh, you just do the buildings, do you?
I just pay for your service. How?
You don't make any policy or invest. But everyone was very nice. And I actually, I immediately bumped into a developer who also does a YouTube show and does a podcast. And like, it was just immediately a very similar group of people.
The big takeaways were, the old joke, beds, meds and sheds still ring true. No one's that interested in office, although it's doing fine. Hospitality is sort of down a bit, industrial, residential, data, logistics. That's where all the kind of money and investment is going into at the moment. That was seemed to be the big theme through the morning.
And also the second talk was the mayor of Pittsburgh and was it the mayor of Sheffield? No, it wasn't the mayor of Sheffield. She was like part of the development team of Sheffield or something, wasn't it? But the Pittsburgh and Sheffield were like ex-steel industry titans that are now trying to refine their character as new cities, and especially the mayor of Pittsburgh, he had a real John McEnroe sort of energy to him, and he was like, no, this is how we do it. And he was talking, that was it, they were talking about the idea of hope being a long-term strategy, like people will
that's been my strategy.
But
blind hope.
People will be more willing to take a sort of couple of steps back if they know the long-term plan is going to benefit them. And a lot of cities need to, he used an analogy of like, stop worrying about the potholes and like think about the long-term strategy. Like there'll always be potholes to fix, but what happens in 10 years, you're still going to, and not as literally as the people took it on stage, but the point was, you're going to have to take a few steps back, but like have this hopeful strategy. And university and tech startups and like long-term investment in like, tech developments was a really powerful story. And the person and the woman from Sheffield was also saying that they've invested in universities, they've invested in like incubator startups, and they're seeing that. And she was, what did she compare Sheffield to? She was like,
well, I think
Milan
it's that thing is like Sheffield shouldn't be trying to compete with Liverpool, or Liverpool and Manchester shouldn't be competing. Sheffield and Leeds shouldn't be competing. Sheffield should be competing with Lille and Lyon and Frankfurt and all of these other things, which is absolutely, which is absolutely right.
Yeah. But I don't know if they were just giving more space for that, or it was legitimately like everyone's looking to invest in more of like outside of London towns. London's obviously always going to be like the centre, but Manchester was talked about a lot. We went to Manchester Hospital for a project, and I did. Yeah, so when we went to Manchester, the taxi driver was taking us around, and he was saying, like 10 years ago, the whole city's transformed. Like I even saw a photo on LinkedIn. This is 10 years ago, same spot, and there was like every skyscraper was new. And they're saying because of sort of Dubai investment, and what they're doing is their football stadium is also massively increasing the amount of development there. It's become this huge investment
but
centre.
You know what? Hot take, and I probably
Here we
shouldn't
go.
say this. There are two reasons for building tall.
Yeah.
One is land values are so high and demand is so high that the economics stack up. So you do it in the City of London, it's 100 quid a square foot or plus, and there are more legal firms than there are space, and you just go up, and it's a cluster. And the second one is nation building. You know, we want the Sheikh Zayed Road to look like an icon. We're going to have the Burj Khalifa. We're going to have Jeddah Tower, and the economic model is just huge national identity growth. What I don't get about Manchester is like land prices aren't that high. They've got loads of old industrial assets. They've got really deep cultural history. There is so much that could be reimagined and regenerated. That these like really tall residential towers, it feels a weird typology to me, and I can already feel the pushback I'm getting from this. But it is. There's a chap who designed one Blackfriars, whose name escapes me. He's a Manchester architect. He does a lot of their tall buildings. And I gave him a speech, and he said, the beauty of Manchester is, people of all social class live in one tower. It doesn't matter if you're a footballer or if you're a tech worker or whatever. It's a complete cross section. But that used to be true of a street. I don't understand why it needs to necessarily go up. And we like big ideas, and I'm definitely not sort of throwing shade on him. I just sort of, you walk around Manchester and they are windy. It's like going to Nine Elms. Yeah. It makes the ground plane really odd. And you think, is that really necessary? I don't know.
Again, this is all from a taxi driver, so take this with a pinch of salt. But he was saying that a lot of people also fly to Dubai. Like Manchester now has the most amount of flights to Dubai, or like almost second to London, basically. And he was saying what people want is amenity. Like they want to go there. They want their turnkey. Here's my flat. Here's my gym. Here's a swimming pool. Here's a spa. Okay. And I want it all in one building. And then I know I've got it all, and I don't have to go anywhere. So it's more like these. I say international loosely, but like people.
It's pretty bleak, isn't it? As sort of. But it's not a hotel. These are homes. I mean, I get it. You go in a hotel, you're like, I can keep my dressing gown on and go to the spa, but I don't have to go out to the Turkish barber for it. We're straying off topic.
It's why you're not in Manchester, Phil. Well, we're at the end of the podcast, so I can talk about the things that I'm really interested in now, and people can tail off, and I can edit to my screen now, so Bill's eyes glaze over. I have some news that.
This is news in the loosest possible term.
This is more loose design news that. You are aware of the design icon Jony Ive from Apple.
I certainly am. Put in the I in iPad.
Yeah, he did. So he left Apple like 6-7 years ago and was under like a non-compete clause and wasn't allowed to use his brand or naming for anything. I think it lasted 5 years.
Wow.
And now he's coming out of this and he's now allowed to do all these things. So he's working with Sam Altman to design the new AI, whatever it's going to be. So OpenAI have invested $6 billion or something ridiculous amount of money into Jony Ive's Love From design brand to do this. But what he's also just done, he's just designed Ferrari's new interior for their first electric car. And it's absolutely incredible because
I'm hearing social value.
Yeah. Well, what he's done is like, it's a total rejection of digital screens, which is so interesting coming from the guy that literally created the greatest digital screen. So like, everything in the Ferrari is all these like, like all of the ways that all their beautiful Apple icons, the way all the button switches, but like it's all like in real 3D. So this Ferrari interior for their first electric car has this stunning Apple-like Ferrari. And so every button, every click, everything, he's designed the hell out of it. And I'm like, it's one of the most beautiful interiors ever. And it's the first time I've got really excited about a car interior because normally car interiors are so random. This is like this stunning piece of like industrial architecture. But it's just a general swing against screen should go, buttons good, digital bad, analog good. AI just had, then this was my next thing, was like the sort of, I've been banging the AI drum for a while, but the Super Bowl adverts came out and loads of them used tons of AI, like so much that people were like, oh, I'm being fed the things I used to really enjoy. And the backlash has been so severe that people are just, everyone's saying, look how great this is. We did this in 5 minutes on AI, like how great we are. And now I think there's a general backlash that if there's something that you think you're enjoying creativity and sort of craftsmanship, if I then say, I did that in 5 minutes on AI, it's like, oh, I don't want to see that. I think people assume special effects are so good because, oh, that's an army of artists spending years doing it, and now I can just click it in a button. So I think there's going to be a general, if it's creative and you're supposed to be selling me something that I'm paying beautiful design, and I find out you've done it in 5 minutes, bad. So I am seeing.
But is there just to push the argument a bit, that you're a barrister that writes an opinion or you're someone that sketches a logo, it's like, it took me 5 years after 30 years. There is a degree. I was thinking that we saw a new project in Croydon yesterday, really exciting. And then we went for a pint and we got the iPads out and we were just unpicking it. And actually in about an hour, we'd really unpicked it. Now we were using, iPads, and we're using technology, and we're using AI to take all the notes and condense the brief, and but actually the output, that's expertise, and we're using AI to get that out.
Yeah.
So I know what you mean. It's not like me going into and creating an animation and having not been an Aardman for 5 years, but I also think AI is about helping remove the barriers to coming out of you a bit.
So as long as you can show that was your flow, I use 9 different tools, and what I normally take me 2 weeks and do it. But if I just sat there with the client and gone, do an office and make it really cool, it's just there. That will be like, well, I'll just use that then. There needs.
That's why we
be,
left and went to the pub.
Yeah, and then went
Don't
to
do
the pub.
it.
All right, that's all the news from us this week. So,
and comment.
When are you going to MIPIM? It's still 3 weeks away.
Oh yeah, plenty of time. Don't worry, I won't let that slip under the radar.
We're going to do a MIPIM special.
Probably will. Live link from Cannes.
We could do that.
Come in.
You're like, I can't stop drinking.
Why not? Of course we can. Why not? It'd be fun.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Comment on Bill's shoes on YouTube if you want, if you like them.
These were £20, Ben. Aren't they cool?
Do we believe that was £20? If I ask your wife how much they were.
No, definitely. 80% discount. There was a shop called BW, and I went in because those are my initials, and I thought this would be great. I'll be able to get some initialed clothes. And these were in the bargain bucket. I honestly, I've had this whole conversation with my wife because we're on a big economy drive in January, and she's like, and you come in with gold basketball shoes. So I had to get out the credit card receipt.
The reason I'm laughing is because the joke was whenever I bought cycling equipment, £20. So I think you and I have both picked this imaginary number, which is like £20 is the limit.
I can't get any. Even the kids' shoes aren't really good.
Oh, also maybe next week you should bring in your yellow sight boots. Bill bought, honestly, sight boots that look exactly like that in bright yellow. They were a statement.
They're pretty cool.
Give the people what they want.
All
right, thank you. Bye.